Hey there, this is Jeremy from SpraySync. I'm going to go through our chemical load page, our chemicals tab that you see up here on the top. You see the top section is for chemical loads, but really before you can build a chemical load, you've got to have the chemicals and suppliers set up. So if I want to add a new chemical, I want to add just a test thing here and just make up some EPA number. And we have this requirement where you have a chemical, you add your suppliers, and then you have to kind of create a chemical supplier combination before you can add it into your chemical load. So there's tests here. I've added a couple suppliers in there. If I want to add this new test chemical into a chemical load, I first have to create an entry in this chemical suppliers section. So that's what this little kind of merge looking button is. So if I hit that, I pick my supplier and I hit my chemical, my new test chemical, hit create, and then it'll show up here. And so now it's available for me to put in one of my chemical loads. So, if I want to do a new one, I can test, create. This total flow rate, this is kind of designed to be your total mix. So this is like with the water and the chemical, what's your overall mix? It's probably more on the order of gallons per acre, but it's in ounces per acre for this entry. So I'm just going to type some, relatively large number. And then now this is where the chemical supplier combinations come in. So that new chemical now is available. So you kind of have to go through those two previous steps to be able to get something available and in this drop down to be able to put in here. And then once I've done that and I do my flow rate again in ounces per acre just for this one chemical. So you can add multiple chemicals here, whatever, if I want to put that in there, and that can be a different flow rate and everything. And you can kind of keep putting there, and if you even if you have more than 3 chemicals, just hit update, and then we'll add more rows so you can keep putting them in. So so that's kind of what it looks like. So now if I go back to the chemicals page, you're going to see that new test chemical load with that test chemical I added and its flow rate, and the Freelex and its flow rate. So in this ounces per acre and all this, when we put that in there, that will end up being when you're doing boom spraying with your width of your swath plus the GPS and how much you've driven. That's how we calculate acres. So this is how we go and we figure out your kind of automatic chemical usage. So we know the acres and we know your ounces per acre here, so then we can kind of backtrack and figure out your chemical used for each chemical that was in your mix. So that's kind of how we do that. So so that's a quick overview of that chemicals tab.